All right, Stokastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMAC coming to you on a Sunday morning here, joined by Matt Bellman as we get ready to break down an intriguing slate. It's literally all-day baseball. There are multiple late games today. I didn't dig into why, but two are on ESPN, so they must be doing something for the holiday weekend. Matt, how are you? You were missed yesterday.
Yeah, I'm good. Long time no see. It feels like I've missed you. I am well. Better now, obviously, that I see you. So, yeah, here to talk some Sunday MLB. Interesting, like you said, weird day of baseball with a smallish main slate.
Yeah, and I was hoping that some of the sites would be more aggressive and taking an approach to capture some of these later games. They're really not. They're just doing some two-gamers here and there. But it is what it is. Yahoo got a Yahoo, so they launched. They didn't give everybody their league lineup links until maybe a half hour before lock, and I was out doing stuff, so I was like, "Oh, they must not be giving them to us today." No, it locked at 11:35. So
that sounds about
right. You FanDuel taught them well. That's all I can say. All right, well, let's take a peek here at the weather first, because that is something I didn't look at because I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It turns out it's not. A little bit of humidity in the Washington, D.C. area that could lead to brief thunder showers. I always laugh. I'm wearing my national shirt today. My wife and I were at a game, 7-8 years ago, and it was raining over the stadium, but it was sunny and there were no clouds in the sky. It was just humidity. And everyone was like, "Oh, this feels so nice." And it lasted for like 10 minutes. But that's what we're looking at there. Colorado, a little bit, slight chance of rain, but nothing that looks like it will impede even the pitchers, though the pitchers probably wish it would be. That is on the FanDuel and main slate and the Yahoo slate that is already locked. And then that looks like it's it. There are 3 of the 5 best Cy Young Award odds in the American League pitchers going today, and 2 from the National League. So we have some serious pitching discussions to get into here, Matt. So I'm going to turn it over to you. There is an embarrassment of riches here. What do you like from the pitching standpoint on our main slate?
Yeah, so one of the better pitching slates we'll have all year, even on a small 7-game slate. But that's what happens when you've got 3 of the top, maybe the 3 best DFS pitchers in baseball right here. You could throw a couple guys in that mix, Paul Skeens if you want. But for my money, it might just be these 3. So all 3 of them in good spots. Skubal's uber expensive, but he's the best one and probably the best spot. So I think all 3 of them look like really, really good plays. And there are other options to look at outside of those guys. The problem is just getting away from that top 3. All 3 of those guys look elite. They are elite. They very rarely have starts where they aren't good. Doesn't mean that can't happen today. I have seen each of these guys get hit around at times, but few and far between. They all look great. I think it's kind of just a dealer's choice, your preference type of thing. Skubal is going to be the lowest owned of the group, but that makes sense to me because he's at a price point that is very prohibitive. $12K is about as expensive as you'll see on starting pitchers on DraftKings. So he's up there, but he is the best pitcher in baseball in a fabulous spot against a lifeless Cleveland team that's somehow even worse against left-handed pitching. I could rave about all 3 of these guys. I like a couple other pitchers, but it's just really tough for me to get away from the top 3. How do you see it?
Well, I'm fixing here because I went out on the wrong link, so I'm catching up to people that.
Okay, I can still.
Yeah, on the correct video. Those that grab the live link are good here, but we are missing about 200 people, so we'll get them back here in just a second. My apologies, everyone. It's my fault. I should have looked closer, but StreamYard is very hard to read, and we don't put a lot of dates in the titles, so it gets confusing. So, but my bad. I should have done better on that. In the meantime, here, while we're letting everybody collect over to the fun, I want to thank everybody that did tune in yesterday. That was a lot of fun. I did a little solo show there, Matt, little 30 minutes for the late slate. We talked about the Portfolio EV, how you guys can get a free 7-day trial there in the YouTube description below us. We also talked about people missing out on that amazing 50% off deal with promo code USA. When we say this stuff ends, this stuff ends. It ended at midnight on July 4th. So my apologies if you guys were caught at the switch there. All right, that gives people time to collect over here. Thank you, everybody. We got up to about 250 people, so that's where we're going to go today. Matt was mentioning the top pitchers there. Kind of as we look across the rest of the sites as we compare them to each other, Tarik Skubal is essentially the same salary as Zach Wheeler and as Garrett Crochet on FanDuel and on Yahoo. There's like $1 separating them on Yahoo, so it's just negligible, and like $200 or $300 on FanDuel, so that's kind of negligible. On DraftKings, you have Skubal coming in at 12,000. Then you've got Crochet at 10,500. So that's about a 10% difference there. Ways you can make this work. There are some cheap guys out there for Boston in a good spot if you want to go that route. Boston is going against lefty Shinosuke Asagawara. I'm sure I did not pronounce that correctly. He is just 4,000 on DraftKings, though I don't think you need to get to him today. He was dealing with an oblique issue. This will be his major league debut. He's made 3 rehabilitation starts after he missed almost 2 months. He got up to about 64 pitches in the last one. So they've said somewhere between 60 and 70 pitches today as expected. Could be on the lower side. Here, he's a 27-year-old, came over from the Chunichi Dragons of the National Professional Baseball League there in Japan, signed as a free agent. So he is, I wanted to call him out quickly because I don't think you have to go to him today, especially since there's no Coors Field on the DraftKings slate, but that would be your punt du jour at the SP2. How do you feel about Wheeler going against the Cincinnati Reds here?
Yeah, I mentioned Wheeler already. He's a great play. I mean, he's a top 3 pitcher in baseball and a really good matchup for right-handed pitching since he strikes out a lot on the road. And to your point about the 4K pitcher, I think he's only in play because he's 4K. Like, I don't think this is the slate where you want to get cute at SP, just because even aside from Skubal, Crochet, and Wheeler, like Joe Ryan and Kevin Gausman have really high upside in their own right. So Agasawara, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not positive. He is in play simply because he's 4K and you can get a different type of build. But I don't know, man. Like on this slate, I'd be needing to play like 150 to get to him, to be quite honest.
All right. We're going to call it the middle tier. I don't know that it's really the middle tier. You've got Joe Ryan going against Tampa Bay. Kevin Gausman gets to go against the righty-heavy Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim there. Max Fried, tougher matchup going against the Mets. But Fried is having basically a career year this year. How do you feel about those 3 guys in that secondary tier there?
Yeah, it's Ryan and Gausman for me there. I think Gausman is the preferred option of the others outside of Skubal, Wheeler, and Crochet. He's been up and down this year, but man, this is a great spot for Gausman at home against the Angels. And we see pitchers like this that are inconsistent. You know, when they have good spots at home, they tend to pitch well. Look at Gausman against Cleveland. I think that was on the road a couple starts ago. Luis Castillo last night against Pittsburgh Like Castillo's not even that good anymore, but at home against Pittsburgh, he still got good enough stuff to have a start like he did last night. I wouldn't be surprised if Gausman had a similar outing. I don't expect that or project that, but I think he's one of the few guys on this slate that can match the upside of the top three. Same with Ryan. He's not going to do it nearly as often, but we know Joe Ryan is elite against right-handed hitters. The lefties worry me in this Tampa lineup. We know Tampa's good. I'm sure it's hot in Minnesota. I don't love Ryan with the other three that we've already gone over and gushed about, but I think him and Gausman are the two two pivots that are cheaper that can match the higher guys' upside on any given start. Fried, not for me. He's a better real-life pitcher than Ryan and Gausman, but not as good of a DFS pitcher with the strikeout upside, tougher spot. I'm out on Fried. I'm not playing Gausman or Ryan, but if I were playing 5+ lineups, I would be.
Okay, that makes sense. For Joe Ryan, he actually did make my article, but betting the under on his 5.5 strikeouts. Now, that was available earlier on NoVig, one of these social sites, at plus 122. So the regular true odds are plus 106. He projects for like 5, depending on where you're looking, between 5.9 and just over 6 strikeouts. So that doesn't take into account range of outcome. The interesting thing is he is not, this year has not been as good at striking out lefties. And the 3 highest strikeout guys are the lefties in the Tampa lineup. So that's kind of a strength on strength there. And I lean towards the hitters because, as Matt mentioned, good hitting environment, etc. But if you can't get that at least plus 110 or plus 115, it's not worth it. It's too close to call at that point. But again, you can get all that information using Portfolio EV. That is free trial in the link below, or in the YouTube description below. Sir, there's a link. If you have not yet signed up, you can use that for a 7-day free trial. Check that out. And you can always look in my article because I put in a wager there every single day. Okay, let's look at a few other things I wanted to throw out. So we mentioned that Osagawara is having his debut. We have Brandon Woodruff, who has missed a ton of time with injury. He is making his return for the Milwaukee Brewers against the Marlins. I don't want to attack him, but I also don't want to take him in his first start with all of these good pitchers here. And then the other guy that was of note was Chase Burns. So he was the kid who came up. He played 4 years at Purdue. I believe he was the 2nd overall pick, got a gigantic contract. They ran him through A, AA, and AAA this year. I think he had 2 starts or 12 innings at AAA, and they said, all right, on the job training time. So he had 8 strikeouts in his first outing. Last start, no strikeouts. He got 1 out and basically was shellacked. He does have excellent stuff. He is worth being the number 2 pick in last year's draft, but he's going to be learning on the fly here. That makes it tough for him against the Philadelphia Phillies with, I didn't see if Harper made the lineup, but I know he is back. The reason I call that out is he's going to be someone, regardless of what happens today, we're going to want to keep him on the short list. If he was facing Miami, if he was facing Pittsburgh, if he was facing one of the weaker offenses, we would want to give him a look just because of that strikeout potential that he has. But today's lineup, Turner, Schwarber, Harper, Bohm, Castellanos, Kepler, Real Muto, Stott, Brandon Marsh, not a single easy out in that lineup. I'm not interested in him. Is there anything else that you see amongst the pitchers here? Gavin Williams against the American League leading Motor City Kitties. Matt, can you believe how good they are this year?
They are good. Honestly, for me, anyone else, I think it would be Burns. I'm not playing him. I think that his last start was a result of tipping pitches that was kind of widely spread. And that's, I don't know how easy of a fix it is, but it's easier than a lot of other things. So I would expect them to wrap that up and take care of it. Doesn't mean I like him here. It's far from a good spot. But the one thing I'll say about him that I don't think anyone can argue is he's much more talented than a $7,400 pitcher. So that's the case for Burns. Everyone else, I'm indifferent on. I think you could make a case for Edward Cabrera. He's in good form in Milwaukee. They're good, but they're not necessarily a scary lineup. I could see both sides of that. I could see taking hitters against him, but also using Cabrera on other slates. Just hard to get there with the guys we have up top. I'm out on Gavin Williams. I like the Detroit stack a lot.
All right. We'll start in our game-by-game portion here. We will give thoughts on the later slate as well. We will have time for questions, but I want to remind everybody that if you partake in DFS, you should really consider having the Stokastic avatar or a Stokastic logo as your avatar. If you finish top 3 in any contest, that's first, second, or third with at least 5,000 people, no chops, first, second, or third, you can win free Stokastic content. You can get the Sims package if you finish top 3 in any contest with 5,000. All you got to do is take a screenshot of your victory with that Stokastic avatar showing, tweet that to Stokastic HOF and send that link into support@stokastic.com, and we will get you squared away. If you win multiple times, the prizes keep getting bigger. So check that out. Nightbot has been kind enough to drop that into chat for us, but you guys can check that out yourselves. All right, let's go look at some stacks here. We'll kind of go game by game to cover the various things that tend to get lost here on the shows. So we're in Washington with Boston as my favorite stack, but they're only like the 4th or 5th most popular or have the best probability of becoming the top stack today. I really like them going against the rookie Nationals pitcher here. The pitcher has a decent fastball, and he has good control, but his secondary pitches involve a lot of deception. They're not necessarily fast, but he does have good location within the zone. I think that could cause problems for the rookies in the lineup. So like Nate Eaton, Romy Gonzalez, Roman Anthony, etc. But the veteran guys, Duran, Story, Ref Snyder, I don't think they're going to be fooled by him, at least not more than once. So I really, really, really like Boston. What are you looking at here, and why is it only Boston?
Yeah, I like Boston. I do think they're going to be very owned for good reason. I mean, facing one of the worst pitchers on the slate, that's an unknown. So the field doesn't even know. Like, he might be horrendous. He's probably not, but he might be. And Boston's really cheap on a slate with high pitching options. So, yeah, I mean, Eaton leading off at 2K, hard for me to get away from. There is a lot of pinch hit risk throughout this lineup, so I'm a little bit cautious of like 5-man stacking them. But, I mean, they're in a good spot. The Nationals bullpen stinks. They've gone off every game this series so far. I don't think this starter is anything good, and I don't even know how long he's going to be in the game. So, yeah, Boston's not my favorite stack, ownership considered, but they look really good. And I think Eaton is one of the best plays on the board, even though he's not like great leading off on the road at 2K. Even with some pinch hit risk, I'm fine with it.
All right. Anybody you want to take against Crochet, even as a one-off?
The only guy I think that that I did consider even a little bit, and this is ugly, is Paul DeYoung, just because he's hitting 5th at 2,200. And I don't mind, on a small slate like this, using a one-off against a pitcher I have, especially if that pitcher is really chalky. I'm not going out of my way to do it, but if I had a lineup that needed 2,200 I think he's shortstop. I don't know if I would change anything. I might just play it.
All right, let's move on to our next game here. Cincy and Philly. We hit the Philly with Zach Wheeler, definitely in contention for a top pitcher of the day. Amongst those 3 Cy Young candidates, we have the embarrassment of riches, the opportunity to choose from here. If you are looking at the Philadelphia offense here against Chase Burns, I'm assuming it's the usual suspects, Turner, Schwarber, Harper, Castellanos for you?
Yeah, definitely. They look good here. Burns is obviously an unknown. He was amazing to start that Yankees start, then regressed in that start, and then was awful last time out against Boston. So growing pains for sure. He's got elite stuff, so I think I'm a little bit lower on the Philly stack than our tools, but they look really good. It looks like there's 3 stacks that are, head and shoulders above the field as far as our top stack percentage goes, the Yankees, Phillies, and Red Sox. And the Phillies are significantly the lowest owned. So that in itself makes me interested. On paper, though, I'm not like in love with it against Burns, who I think is good and was just tipping pitches last start.
All right. Anything from Cincinnati that you would like to mention?
Nah, I mean, if you're trying to just play the ownership game and stack the Nationals or the Reds or the Guardians here, those guys are going to be very owned, but it's not for me.
All right. Now we've got some things to break down here. So Tyler Anderson is taking the mound for the Angels. This game is in Toronto. Toronto is countering with Kevin Gausman. Gausman gets to go against that mostly right-handed lineup, but we do have Nolan Schanuel, who is a lefty, Luis Rengifo, who is a switch hitter, and then Gustavo Campero, who has a grand total of 17 plate appearances against righties. He is a switch hitter. He has done well, but very, very small sample size. He is batting 8th. You've got the strikeouts are hefty here for the Angels, and you have Gausman, who does have a 26% strikeout rate against righties this year. Is he SP2 contender for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it weren't for the 3 guys up top, he'd be a really, really strong option. He's, I think, the best option outside of the top 3. I like picking on the Angels with right-handed pitching. Gausman is a guy that I want to use in spots like this, and I like him here. I don't really like the Angels' bats, although I think they have upside against him because Gausman is inconsistent these days. It's not like he's an elite pitcher anymore, if he ever was. He's certainly not right now. He just has high strikeout upside in this matchup. So I could see playing the Angels. I don't love them personally. I'm more on the Gausman side, but I'm only playing one lineup, so I'm not going to play him.
All right. Ooh, look, we got a testimonial there in chat from Fat Chewbacca. He says, which is how, of course, Wookiees talk, but that translates into, I have the gold tier free month. I won $1,000 last night. Make sure you change to that Stokastic avatar. And may the force be with you, always. Let's continue to Miami and the Milwaukee Brewers. Woodruff is making his return. I don't really want any part of him. Miami, they're pesky, Matt.
They're too pesky, man. They're so pesky.
They've got some talent here. Everybody's young, but they shape up well against right-handed pitching. Jesus Sanchez, Otto Lopez, Augustine Ramirez, Kyle Stowers. Those guys are all solid. You've got switch hitters.
Xavier Edwards
at the top. Yeah. What do you want to do with Miami? This is like file away Miami for one of the sub slates because if they get the right matchup, they are cheap and they look pretty imposing against weaker pitchers.
Not even weaker pitchers. They absolutely destroyed San Francisco in that series like a week and a half ago, facing, well, not the best pitchers, but they destroyed Birdsong. This is in San Francisco. They beat up Verlander. And they got to Logan Webb. They've been, like you said, very pesky. I respect Woodruff enough where I don't want to go there on this slate, but like they're cheap enough and they fit with the expensive pitching where like Woodruff is certainly an unknown right now. I like him, but like I like him in general, not today. So I'm not excited about using Miami, but I think on today's slate, I would be more apt to use Miami than Woodruff himself. I mean, you mentioned that top 5. I mean, there's not much bad in there as far as I'm concerned. It's not a great ballpark, not like a ton of power there, but man, they're running a little bit too. Yeah, if I were playing a few more lineups, I'd probably get to some Miami. But again, like I am a big Woodruff fan in general. Like I like the cut of his jib, even if he doesn't have his best stuff. Like he knows how to pitch, so I don't think Miami like goes off on him here.
Yep, that's all fair. And then in his final re-up start, 82 pitches. So
yeah, you should get a good outing from him here.
Yeah. But it was a shame for him to get hurt. Was it? I can't remember what it was. Like he came back from like a neck issue or something, and then
he got hit by a line drive like a couple months ago, I think.
Okay. All right. 3 more on the DK slate, 4 more on the FanDuel slate. We've got the Subway Series. Today it is in Queens at Citi Field. You have a bullpen game here from the Mets. They are going with righty Chris Stavinsky, and then the best guess is lefty Brandon Waddle was the last that I saw. So just keep in mind, Davinsky is probably only going to go 1 inning. He might get 4 outs, maybe 5. I don't think he'll close the book on the second inning here. We mentioned a little bit of Max Fried, good real-life pitcher, having a great season. Tough ask going against the Mets. It is 87 degrees at Citi Field. While this is typically one of the better, or I guess more offensive neutral parks in the cooler weather, it is kind of leans towards pitching. But 87 degrees, 10 to 14 mile an hour breeze out to center field. That's going to help the offenses here. What do you like from either side of the battle for New York?
So I don't like the Mets here. I think Fried is a really good real-life pitcher. He is a really good real-life pitcher. So I just think there's better spots on this slate. The Yankees, they look good here. I think they're going to be highly owned, especially like the good bats, but it's hard to argue. Weird lineup for them, like no Dominguez, who has been red hot. I don't like that. I don't think Ben Rice is in there. I know Waddell is a lefty, but they're starting out against a righty. So I don't love their lineup today. I think they're in play just because of their upside, obviously, and they're cheap enough. Outside of Judge, they're very affordable. So I like them. I don't love them at their ownership, I think is the best way to put it.
Who is Braden Shumaki? Is he a prospect? Let's go look that up.
I think it's Shoemake. He's a pit. Yeah, the name sounds so familiar.
Going over to handy dandy Fangraphs here. It is. He actually has played before. Yeah, was a Chicago White Sox.
Yes.
Previously, also in the Atlanta organization. Let's see, 19th overall prospect, marginal, basically a backup infielder is what he is. Decent glove, neutral on the bat. $3.2 million signing bonus. He was 21st pick overall by the Braves, but not really, didn't really pan out yet. Still one of the best in the world at his craft, just not the best of the best. Okay. Sorry, a little detour there on a name I didn't recognize. Anything else you want to cover from this one?
No, I don't think so. The Yankees look good. It's about all from this game I like.
All right. What do you want to give? Reiterate the bona fides there for Tarik Skubal against your Cleveland Guardians.
I've been
this
waiting
is
to
a
get
rough
to this game.
Guardians.
The Guardians are in freaking shambles right now.
Yeah.
They got 2 guys, their 2 top prospects, absolutely mashing at AAA, like mashing. Chase DeLauder, maybe their best hitting prospect since Lindor, just absolutely mashing. They refuse to call these guys up, even though their lineup, I was thinking about this last night, it's White Sox, Rockies bad. They might not strike out as much as those teams, but they're starting to. They're bad. Like, they're just bad. Outside of Jose Ramirez, who's a stud, future Hall of Famer, love Jose. This lineup is atrocious. So Skubal's the best pitching option today. I think on FanDuel, he's the number 1 guy. With all those guys priced the same, he's the number 1 option. I think on DK with all of them being so close and the price discrepancy, he's the third option. But I think raw points wise, he's the number one guy slightly. This Cleveland team stinks. They're in shambles. They've lost 9 in a row. They're barely scoring. And they're averaging like under 1.5 runs per game over this streak, or somewhere around there. It's pathetic. Skubal looks great here. And then the one thing I'll say that's against Skubal in this spot, and part of the reason I like Detroit a lot, it is hot here. I think this might be the best weather spot on the slate. It's like 93 to 95 here, which is crazy hot for Cleveland. Thought about you when I went for my walk this morning, because you're always talking about your walks. It's hot here. So ball should fly, wind's blowing out. I like the Tigers a lot. Kind of like I said with Paul DeYoung, I don't think you're crazy if you're playing multiple lineups to pull out a Guardians one-off, but that's about all I'm doing there. Skubal's too good. Guardians are too bad. It's all about Detroit for me in this game.
Yeah, I had not seen the Detroit or the Guardians lineup. It's dreadful. It's simply dreadful. You can't perfume this pig. Doesn't work.
You can try, but
I didn't want to take a chance. Again, they're not as bad against righties, because then you've got Quan back with
Quan's actually good against lefties. Like, you'd rather have him against righties, but it's everyone else. Like it's just
Quan makes good contact. Power.
Yes.
Yeah. But he doesn't strike out. But yeah, David Fry, horrible. Jonathan Rodriguez, Will Wilson, Austin Hedges, Brian how does he pronounce his name? Rocchio. Yeah, sketchy at best. All right, that takes us to the final game on DraftKings here. We got about 30 minutes here before a lock. You've got the Minnesota Twins. I saw somebody saying that there was a change to the Tampa Bay lineup. Let me see.
Caballero got scratched. But
okay.
Before we even talk about this last game, because we've got time, like, tell me how you feel about Detroit bats here, because you mentioned Gavin Williams.
Yeah, sorry.
Like, I think Gavin Williams, and I think that there'll be no disagreement here. He's got great stuff. He just hasn't put it all together yet. Still puts too many guys on base. Gets hit hard when he's not striking guys out. And this Detroit lineup's just good. I don't know, man. They're out for blood after Cleveland took them out in the playoffs last year. They want this sweep. I think they get after him early. I like Detroit here a lot. I just don't think Gavin Williams has put it all together, and this is not the spot that he can survive with, especially how hot it is out.
So what do you think about Javi Baez being voted into the All-Star game?
Pretty wild.
Let's start there. Third different position he's been voted in as an All-Star. Now the fans, this is kind of like the fans, because there were 3 Detroit starters, but he has had quite the turnaround. I mean, we were making jokes that he was just there cashing those checks. I mean, he just didn't give a shit for 2 or 3 seasons when they were bad. And then he started getting back into it last year. And then this year, it's all of a sudden, it's like everybody is coalescing around each other. It's very interesting.
It is interesting. I don't think it's like he didn't give a shit. Baseball's weird. Like,
yeah.
It just is. I mean,
he still has the best tattoo of all time. But
the MLB one?
Yeah, the MLB logo right above the MLB logo.
Yeah, it's so good. That's good.
But to answer your question, this is a decent lineup here. I like that they have Veerling back. He seems like he might be a little bit rusty from his time off. It hurts that they don't have Carpenter, that he's out, but Colt Keith has been performing quite nicely. Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson. Torkelson was the much maligned guy to be set down in the minors a bunch after being the top draft pick. He has figured things out and been outstanding lately. Juancio Perez has been showing pop from both sides of the plate. Even Parker Meadows is getting back into the mix. I think this is a decent spot here. Probably better off on the sub slate, the afternoon sub slate. But Detroit's another lineup you want to file away. I think they've scored the 5th most runs in the league this season, and we still are thinking of those just putrid years that they had. The Motor City Kitties, they might be for real. They'll claw your eyes out, man.
Yeah, they will. I hope so. I hope they do so today.
Oh, does that mean they're making your short list here?
Yeah, I mean, I like them a ton here, especially with how hot it is and the ownership. I like them a lot.
All right. 4 lineups for you today?
No, I'm just playing one.
Just one?
Yep.
Is Detroit involved?
Detroit is involved.
Yes! Look at that.
Detroit is involved.
The legendary Matt Bellman putting his money where his mouth is.
This Cleveland team is just in shambles, so I'm trying to pick on them right now.
A little schadenfreude, a little hate towards your home team. Doesn't that make it feel better?
Yeah, maybe.
A little bit.
Watch today. It'll probably be the day that Gavin Williams is amazing and Skubal stinks, but it is what it is.
No hitter through 6 or something.
Yeah. Goddamn.
All right. Tampa, Minnesota, low 80s. You've got a cross breeze first to third base here. We've got Drew Rasmussen, who is an adequate pitcher, but he tends to lose discipline on the mound from time to time and has a little hint of a fly ball issue. So that could be tough in this particular weather environment. On the other side, we have Joe Ryan. Ryan is a good pitcher, good real life pitcher, allows he's better this year against power, but he allows too many fly balls, too many hard hits. He's gotten a little bit lucky this year. I am okay with the top 4 in the lineup here for Tampa. That would be Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lowe, Junior Caminero, and Jonathan Aranda. So you're getting righty-lefty here. I think it's a good mix. What do you like from the final DraftKings game?
Yeah, so I don't love a ton. But I think one-offs are in play for me. Like, I like Joe Ryan a lot, so I don't want to stack Tampa. But, man, Brandon Lowe looks elite. He's on, like, a big hit streak right now. Swiped a bag yesterday. I think he's the best second base option, like, projection-wise, by a good amount. So I want him. I like him a lot. I don't think he's a must-play or anything, but I like him as a one-off a lot. I could see using some other Tampa bats. Minnesota, I'm fine with. I don't think they stand out in any particular way. I will say Royce Lewis, still really cheap, and his underlying numbers, his expected numbers are much better than his actual. So fine playing him on any slate.
Yeah, he's gone from being a guy who just did nothing but hit home runs when he wasn't hurt to now just regression. The regression monster has gotten to him. From the Minnesota side here, Larnack profiles well. Matt Wallner, though he has slid down the lineup to 6th. Cody Clemens from the 8th spot. Those would be the guys you could look to for the power upside. Kind of a little sub stack there, if you will. See what I did? A sub stack, like the new technology. Not so new, but there we are. What do you want to mention here in the final DraftKings game?
Wait, what? Didn't we just do that?
Did you mention the Minnesota side?
Yeah, I just said Minnesota is in play for me. Royce Lewis. That's how we got to Royce Lewis.
Sorry. Yep. I was reading chat. Oops.
Is the White Sox game on FanDuel?
Yes. Colorado is on FanDuel. So we've got the Rockies going against Shane Smith. It is going to be in the upper 80s today in Denver. Mickey Moniak, Jordan Beck, Michael Toglia, Ryan McMahon, all looking good there in the top of the order. That would be the guys I would focus on. If we flip over to Chicago, you've got Tauchman is interesting. Now, they are going against Chase Dollinger. Dollinger is a good pitcher, good prospect, just has not been has had a rough go of it. He's another guy getting on the job training. There's no need to play him today. I'm okay attacking him, but it's not as with as much veracity as I would some of the other pitchers. But I think Tauchman, Benintendi, and Vargas are the guys you want to focus on. Did you see that dog shit lineup that Chicago put out yesterday?
Yeah, I played one lineup and stacked the White Sox, so they were pretty good to me yesterday. Even
did you have? I assume you had Sosa.
I mean, he was hitting second at 2,800. So like sometimes you just got to eat it. Him and Luis Castillo. The White Sox weren't even like as high owned as like Houston was, and they shouldn't be because they're the White Sox. But and again, like the only difference I have with you on Dollander or Dolander, I think it's pronounced. Like, I do think that he's a guy that I'm going to be less inclined to pick on than the other Rockies starters in the future. But right now, he's right in line with all the other ones. He just hasn't figured it out yet, nor should he. I mean, he's still really young. He hasn't been good at home. His underlyings aren't good. I play too much Chicago, the White Sox that is, in much worse spots to not really like them here if I were playing on FanDuel. I mean, it's just a huge ballpark upgrade. Obviously, they're in Coors. And they've been pesky like the Marlins have against right-handed pitching. They've got guys back. Tauchman leading off. Benintendi's been good all year. Teal's now up. Like, I play too much White Sox on other random slates to not want to go to them here. I like the Rockies, but not as much as the White Sox. Like, I just like the White Sox lineup more than the Rockies. I think Shane Smith is better than Dolander right now. Now, I think both those are close. I think the White Sox and Rockies have very similar bad lineups. I think Dolander and Shane Smith are bad. I just think Dolander's a little bit worse right now. So I'm more on the White Sox side, but it's close enough where wouldn't fault you if you wanted to switch that up.
All righty. Let's see here. Let's talk about the late slate. My dog is telling me she's going to go pee somewhere, which is great. I look forward to that. All righty. So 3-game late slate. You've got 2 good pitchers. That would be Paul Skeens, who seemingly is never on main slates for us, Matt, because the Pittsburgh starting at 640 for their games. He is in the Pacific Northwest going against the Mariners. Each of these teams has about a 3.3 implied run total. You have George Kirby on the other side. Kirby, I think he's up to 8 starts now since returning to action. He has been decent, but these are the 2 pitchers you're going to want to build around. What do you feel about the pitching overall amongst our 6 options?
Yeah, I mean, in Seattle, like, it's just really hard to get away from these guys. Saw it last night with Luis Castillo, and Burrows was good. Like, I mean, yeah. Sheehan, I think, is a guy with upside, like, and on a lot of slates be intriguing at 6,900. I do think he's cheap enough where, like, Skeens hasn't been like, I think Skeens is easier to get away from than Kirby at those prices because Kirby's in the clear better spot. I mean, this Pittsburgh team on the road in Seattle, and you've got expensive bats like that you want. Ohtani, Freeman, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll. So I do think that Skeens is easier to get away from for me than Kirby. I don't know if you feel similarly. Doesn't really matter. Ultimately, I just want to play Kirby and Skeens together. I do think that Sheehan is the clear pivot, and I'm not really interested in anyone else.
All right, cool. So let me get to my article because I did write this up. I will drop it into chat. You can find it on Twitter. You can find it on the Stokastic homepage. The late slate pitching. Where can we get to this? All right, so the weakness I said for the Mariners side is there are 2 rookies at the bottom of the order, Ben Williamson and Cole Young. That's just huge strikeout opportunities there for Skeens. We have Anthony Desclafani getting the spot start here because Arizona's in a stretch where they're going to play 17 straight games, and they wanted to give a break to their starters. So they've been ramping up Desclafani. You guys will remember him as Disco Stu. He has been in the DFS world forever. He's now in his age 35 season, so not that exciting. Torey Lovullo said he'll probably go 70 pitches today, so probably about 4 innings. You mentioned Emmett Sheehan. This is his second spot start. He missed all of 2024, recovering from elbow surgery. Had looked like he was going to be a multi-inning reliever or swing guy before that. Decent strikeout stuff, not really profiling as a starter. This will be his second spot start. He's been down in AAA staying stretched out. So you've got him. And then the other two, rookie Colton Gordon against the Dodgers. No, thank you. And then on the other side of Arizona, you've got Michael Lorenzen. Surprisingly, Corbin Carroll.
I'm seeing Ryan Gusto.
Oh, is it Ryan Gusto?
Yeah. Where are you seeing Colton Gordon?
Well, I wrote this at the ass crack of dawn, and that was who the projected pitcher was.
Okay.
So,
I see Colton Gordon. You're right.
Oh, okay. Either
way,
way,
back and forth. My fault there.
I want no part of them. So, Framber did okay yesterday. Day before, everybody hit for Houston. I don't like this for the Dodgers. But what do you think about Corbin Carroll coming back? He was supposed to be out until at least August with that bone chip floating around in his wrist. Do you think they pushed him too soon?
It's weird because I saw it happen. He got hit by a pitch in Toronto, and like right after, they were kind of expecting him to come back immediately, but then they saw that it was a fracture or whatever, and he went to the IL. So I am a little bit surprised, although team kind of needs wins because they're not in a great spot. That said,
prior to last night, they'd lost 7 of their last 9, so they were sliding out of contention for the wild card spot.
Yeah, that's kind of why I mentioned that Sheehan, though, is in play, just because, like, you talked about the Dodgers, Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte. There are really expensive bats to like on this slate. And if you play Skeens and Kirby, you're not going to be able to play more than 2 of them, probably.
All right, let's build out some lineups here with the contest generator. I did one lineup on DraftKings today, but it was a chalk donkey lineup. Let's build out 5,000 here for FanDuel. Let's get our stacks changed and kick this one off. I'm hoping I get a lot of Colorado because I want to have some fun this afternoon and watch that game with everybody else. Let me see how my single lineup sims went. I got my 6 lineups in here. I will export those so I can get them in. Are you regretting playing just one lineup today? You feeling a little Jones for some more?
Nah, I mean, can't live with regrets, right? It's just it is what it is. It's playing lineups during the when I have shows has been a hindrance to me. So playing less when I have shows is just what it is.
Hence why I am now on FanDuel instead of DraftKings, because it takes me too long to build out the lineups I want with 2 pitchers because I live in the single lineup sim. It is so much fun. I'm sure you can attest to that.
Got it open right now.
All right, let me download my file here. We'll see what we have for questions from our friends in chat. Do a little lineup sorting, get back to the page. Now that we've talked through everything, were there any surprises for you?
In terms of what?
Well, it's pretty clear that there's only 3 pitchers that we want to go to, but did any of the offenses intrigue you? Did you change your mind? Or, I mean, you were already kind of off the board going with Detroit there.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I kind of am I'm going to stick to my guns here. I think there are a few good spots. So, I don't think that I don't think there's one stack above all. I think that the Yankees look good. We talked about the Red Sox. I like Detroit, but there's a few good stacks today. I don't think there's one. There's no team in cores. The Yankees have a little bit of a watered-down lineup. I do think that the Yankees are the top stack, just projection-wise.
What would you do for single lineups?
What do you mean?
For a single lineup, who would your stack be? That's a popular question we got.
Well, I'm playing one lineup and I'm playing Detroit, so.
All right.
I think that that's more of a do as I don't recommend that. That's just what I'm doing. I think that if I were to recommend one stack, given the tools and where projections and the sims are pushing, I think Boston. You're right.
That's who I ended up with a Boston stack in my one DK lineup. We'll look at that in a sec here. The surprising thing, I'm getting a fair amount on FanDuel here. I'm getting in the single lineups. I'm getting a ton of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah, Toronto's in a great spot against Tyler Anderson. So
yeah, 33% in my 150 here. Oh, look at that. We got 37% Skubal, 33% Crochet, 24% Wheeler, and then a smattering of the other guys. That is wonderful. Let's look at our stacks. Ton of Boston. I'm going to need to boost our friends here in Coors Field just a little bit. So chat, I'm going to go over to the ROI boost, go to the stack boost. I'm going to give that a couple clicks up for each of the teams instead of going to the individual players, because I would like a mix of the folks that are coming in on that. Let's see how that changed anything. That got that got the White Sox up to my second highest. I'm going to take one tick away. I'm going to put one more tick there on to Colorado. And I noticed not a lot of Tampa Bay. Now, I did make one Tampa Bay stack in my 6 hand-built lineups. So I'm okay there, but I would have liked a tiny, tiny bit more. Let's go back to our pictures here. Looks pretty good. I'm going to give one more unfavorite, refavorite, 144, because I built out my 6 lineups. Download those, and then let's answer some questions. Dun, dun, dun. Get that uploaded. Probably should have done something with my Yahoo lineups. I did not. I will live with that, Matt, begrudgingly. And hit save. Because I am so annoyed with Yahoo, the secret site, trying to ruin their product. They may not even be standing by the time football comes around. All right. Bridge Line says he likes Vladdy. Remix it. Cleveland versus Skubal. Never. Is a 5-man Arizona stack too much? No. 5-man stacks are perfectly fine in all formats. You will need to remember that they do not always have the best ROI sim, but when they win, they win big. And that is, Greg does a great job of explaining that. Eric does a great job of explaining that, but they run almost exclusively 5-man stacks. I lean a little more towards 4-mans, but I'm also playing in smaller field tournaments where you don't have to be absolutely perfect to win. Nicholas Barrett says Springer has been reborn. Let's see if we got any questions. Do you guys like the Toronto bats? Yeah, overall. So, correct. We didn't break them down. So let's hit on Toronto quickly here. Let me go back to my filtered page. So they get to go against Tyler Anderson. Anderson is mostly a fly ball pitcher. That is not going to be particularly helpful. Ernie Clement leading off was someone I was getting a lot in the single lineup zones on FanDuel. George Springer has been a lefty masher throughout his career. Apologies to Derek Carty, who doesn't believe in that, but
he's also on fire right now, which is another thing he doesn't believe in.
Yeah. So, and hat tip to Carty. I respect all the work that he's done. I had fun doing shows with him back in the day, but you got to tweak him a little bit. The guy was on ESPN after all. And then Vladimir Guerrero. So interestingly, Bo Bichette has moved into the cleanup spot. He is a little bit better than he was over his 2-year slump. Over the last 30 days, he's actually been serviceable against lefties, so I'm okay with him. Alejandro Kirk is probably where it ends for me, but that's mostly getting the catcher spot there on if you're doing DraftKings or FanDuel. Those would be the guys I like. Davis Schneider is someone I think you could use as a cheapie if you want to go away from some of the cheaper Boston guys. So there's your Toronto breakdown. 10 minutes to go. Oh, do you have a dong of the day?
Yeah, I'm going to go off the board here. I'm going to go Parker Meadows.
Oh, I like that. I think that is good. I will say, you know what? Let's go with Ernie Clement. I have him on a ton of my lineups. Vladdy seems just a little too popular here. My dog is doing the I'm going to pee dance. Watch how she bites me. This is her sign that means she needs to go outside. It's a sixth floor elevator ride, and it's going to be a few minutes before we go outside. So hopefully she doesn't pee in my lap. 4-month-old puppy. It's great. It's great. Let's get back to the questions here. Hobby Baez balling there for Nick Barrett. Jesus Sanchez for Steven Leibowitz. I like that. Angel stack may work. We mentioned we weren't against an Angels stack. They do have decent power righty-righty matchups. Gaussman can be had if he's having an off day, but there are so many other spots to look to today that profile better. What did he just say? No, I'm holding my dog. She is a 4-month-old puppy, and she's giving the sign that she needs to go to the bathroom. So I'm holding her because I don't really want to clean up pee off the floor, and I'm hoping it's not on my lap. That's what I was saying. What is the dog's name? Millie, short for Mildred, but it could stand for Millie, as in million. There we go. It's a DFS name, Matt.
Yeah, totally.
Banking. Do not make me ban you. There's some interest. Oh, here's some other home runs here. Caminero for James Elwood. Stowers and Sanchez for Samir. Ken Ratty says Dingler. Casey Leatherwood likes Goldschmidt and Riley Green. Banking. Reading comprehension and hearing comprehension. That's what you got to think about. Sweeney over Torkelson. There you go. Who is Millie's maker? Mommy puppy and daddy puppy, I guess. I don't know. Oh, Matt, we're running out of things to talk about. Chat, give us any questions you have here. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's
God damn it. Chris Albers. I got to sing Dong of the Day.
No, you don't.
He paid for it, though.
Oh, God.
What if the puppy sings Dong of the Day? Dong of the Day, yeah. Dog of the Day. What about Dog of the Day? Dog of the Day, yeah. Cha-cha-cha.
There are a few things that make me feel as uncomfortable as that. So, congrats.
It was Dog of the Day. See?
It's not even the words. It's like how it just feels like I'm in an 80s sitcom. Like, just, I don't even know.
Oh, Chris Albert says the reaction, God damn it, was worth $2. Conradi says, now I'm going to make your pee. All right.
That's good. Yeah,
it's possible. Shouldn't doing the pee dance. All right. What else do we got?
I will say about these Sunday shows, I mean, usually we have all the lineups, especially with the slate starting at 1:30. So the games are compressed. We've got the lineups. I feel like I don't even know if there's any more we can talk about with this slate.
I concur. So we're gonna take this moment to slide on out of here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and yesterday as well. Hit that like button; it does help us. You guys can follow Matt on Twitter at Fantasy Tips Matt. You can find me at EMACDFS, and of course, it is Stokastic _COM. With that, gamers, good luck.